So we've had a little mixed, discussion up here over the last 2 days over this general topic.
I've been listening to it. I mean, as you're supposed to analyze and not antagonize. That's what you said. I wrote it down. It's something that I think, I teach journalism, and the one thing you don't want to do is be the story. You want to cover the story, but you don't want to be the story. But isolated, what he said was wrong. There's no question about that. If you're somebody who follows sports and cares about sports, sports has an impact. Sports is part of the civic fabric of what goes on in this country. And you can't say that. He stepped over the line. And I'd like to see him, and I know Charles, I'd like to see him not only apologize to Draymond Green, but, the reason why the NBA has exploded is because young people are watching it and consuming it more and more on social media and on all kinds of platforms. Apologize to those young people out there. Apologize to parents out there who had to listen to
Sal, first of all, Charles Barkley is not a journalist. We all agree, right?
Yes.
He's not a journalist.
That was the first thing, yeah.
He's a personality.
Okay, I gotcha.
And he is an outlier in a world of talking heads. I'm not saying he can say anything, but I'm saying in this particular case, I don't think any of us really thought, oh, Charles is going to go punch Draymond. None of us thought that, right?
We thought, based on the tone of what he said, that there was something personal there. And anytime you're threatening physical violence against someone else,
it's wrong.
That's not something that we should be.
I never took that seriously.
But here's what he is. And by the way, we all love Charles and all of the quantifiers there. But we can't take for granted, Bees, that he is a sports analyst.
I'm not saying that.
He's an analyst for sports that probably got an email or a phone call
from
somebody that he works for, and acknowledged for him to go on television and say what he said was inappropriate.
And here's the other thing, we are able to differentiate it because we're in the business. But there are a lot of people at home who can't differentiate. Okay, is he a journalist or an analyst? Or
they never know the difference.
And they don't know the difference.
No, they don't.
Many people don't. And it sort of paints us all in the same corner, if you will. If Charles can say that, then somebody else can say that, and it's all fair game, and it's not right.
Listen, I have so many thoughts on this that they would take up a lot more time than we have here. I mean, journalism, and I went to journalism school. Journalism is a concept.
That's one of us.
Yeah, I did. But journalism is a concept, and media is a business. And Charles Barkley is in the business of media. He isn't a journalist. And by the way, so aren't a lot of people who make their living in media. I thought that Charles Barkley's apology, if you want to call it that, was completely appropriate because he isn't sorry for what he said. He's just sorry he said it. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to punch Draymond Green in the face. I think that's what he said. I think he said, I meant what I said. I would like to. In that moment, I felt like I want to punch Draymond Green in the face. I just shouldn't have said that on television. I basically think that's what he was saying, and I at least admire the honesty. Like, Charles isn't going to sit up there and tell you. If he had sat there and said, I'm so sorry, this is one of the worst things I've ever done, and I apologize to children everywhere, it would have felt very ungenuine.
Charles is terrific, and I love that program. But what I've learned, because I've been fortunate enough to work on different shows, is that when you're on matters. So they're able to have a different shtick because they're late night TV.
Oh, no, because everybody's consuming it 24 hours a day on their phone.
Correct.
Those old rules are just gone.
Correct. But when it happens in the moment, normally it's at 1 in the morning. So that caters to
it lives forever, all the time, 24 hours a day. I don't think that matters.